Lying there, on that old gray couch, Rosa can't help down the same spiral of thoughts, like those about she and her husband, Andre, sitting up late at night after baby Mateo was in bed. They would turn on the 24-hour loop of A Christmas Story and watch until they fell asleep together on the couch, still holding hands. But Rosa doesn't want to wander down that path right now. She doesn't want to think about him. Tomorrow, there is an office Christmas party, even though it's barely December. He's a good kid. He's just having a bit of a rough time in school right now. Not with learning. The teacher actually said he's the best in math. But with the other kids, it's been hard. You know, he stole a toy from a little girl yesterday. This morning, I had to come in to give it back to the teacher. She said he's been really quiet, but I'm not that worried. I mean, I was pretty shy at his age, too. Kareen nods, then she smiles. I think you still are a little bit. She laughs, teasing. Rosa presses her lips together. Right. And she laughs a bit, too. Kareen, that woman, always exhausts her. Her friendliness had an edge to it, an aggressiveness. Her personality was like the long patterned clothing she always wore, too bright to look at for long. She puts her hand on Rosa's shoulder. It seems to press down too hard, like Kareen is trying to crush the part of Rosa that wants to break free from the conversation. Look, Rosa, if anything is ever wrong, you can come to me. I know we don't know each other that well, and I know that maybe me and the rest of the people in the office haven't been the greatest at socializing outside of work. But that doesn't mean I can't be here for you if you're going through a tough time. Rosa blinks. I'm not going through a tough time. I'm fine. Rosa's about to say more, but mercifully, her phone begins to ring in her pocket. I have to take this. It's the babysitter. With everyone in the other room, the office becomes quiet. The lights and the air conditioner hum, and Rosa's lungs breathe. Mateo, little Mateo. If Andre was still there, he would know what to do. He would sit Mateo on his knee and explain that even though the world seems dark and scary sometimes, you have to stay kind to other people. That you should give that toy back to that girl. She'll be happy, and so will you. But even though this was a fantasy, Andre would still turn to Rosa and ask her how she could let this happen. How could she let her son embarrass them both? Remember, like in that market, when he wouldn't stop screaming? Or that time when he tripped a little girl right into the playground mulch? Remember, Rosa? Her eyes are beginning to sting with tears. A week or so later, Rosa's church holds a ceremony for Noche de las Velitas. Several years before, when Mateo was very young, the three of them, Rosa, Mateo, Andre, traveled back to Bogota to visit Andre's grandparents and cousins for most of the month of December. They went downtown together on Noche de las Velitas, an almost identical night to this one. Andre hoisted Mateo high on his shoulders, walking far ahead of Rosa. They had gotten into another fight over something else stupid. I love you, she said at some point. Maybe she was in tears. Rosa can't remember. Thank you, Andre responded. He swallowed hard, bounced to giggling Mateo. The boy had his arms stretched out as if he was absorbing everything, the oversized ornaments, the music, the joy, through his fingertips, his eyes wide in wonderment. I said, I love you. And I said, thank you. Rosa can't remember her last conversation with Andre. He had moved out of their apartment a month later, disappeared with the dish towels, and never spoke to her again. But she remembers that night. She remembers it as if it's still happening.